doing the Tomb of the Cybermen this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm going to guess that my two co-hosts will have quite a lot to talk about this episode, so why don't I introduce them? Firstly, to my virtual left, give him a lick. He tastes just like raisins. It's Freezing Inferno.
What? That's an ancient... I don't even know what that has to do with Tomb of the Cybermen.
Absolutely nothing. I just liked it for introduction.
Okay.
You know what we should be asking? When did you ever lick him?
And to my virtual right. Please keep 2 meters away from her at all times. Nothing to do with any kind of virus. She just likes her personal space. It's Concave Usurper, also known as Kat.
Damn fucking straight. Stay the hell away from me.
Oh, mood.
Just have like one of the sticks. It's like if you're beyond the stick, you're too close to me. Back off.
It's like that bit from Rick and Morty. Number 1, personal space. Number 2, more personal space.
Yeah, basically.
Number 3, look at that personal space.
Number 4, if you know about number 1 yet.
Tomb of the Cybermen.
Yeah, so I picked this. I will now go into my motivation for picking this. It wasn't actually the Cybermen, funnily enough.
Oh.
It was the companion.
Oh.
Because this is the very first full story for, well, as a member of Team TARDIS, for Victoria Waterfield.
Okay.
And the reason I picked that is because today that we're recording this is September the 14th, 2020. Yep. And Fury from the Deep just came out on DVD.
Oh, well, if for you folks in the UK, for us over here, we have to wait a year. Like, we haven't even gotten the faceless ones yet,
I was tempted to maybe make that my pick, but I realised it's far too soon because, spoilers. There will be people that know nothing about Fury from the Deep. And I'm not going to talk about Fury from the Deep other than just say that it's out now for that reason.
Just from the title, is it another Atlantis thing?
No.
Oh, well then I am out of ideas. I have no idea.
It's particularly pertinent in relation to Victoria, and that's as far as I'll go on that.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Let's put it this way. In the grand scheme of classic Doctor Who, there's either Atlantis or not Atlantis, so...
Yes.
Well, this
3
time
versions of it.
3 versions of it. Okay, but, Tomb of the Cybermen. Now, this is interesting because, opinion on this has sort of built from fan opinion from before we were born. Like, people who watched it on broadcast when they were 10, 50 odd years ago and really remembered the striking things from it, which are there, to be fair. So for a long time, 80s fandom built this up, I guess, as like the lost holy grail of Doctor Who. I'd give my left fucking arm to see Tomb of the Cybermen again. This spooky, atmospheric, greatest Cyberman story ever seen. And then, lucky enough, in 1992, they found it, and we have it now, and, well...
Are you sure you have the right Tomb of the Cybermen?
Are you sure you got the right arm?
This isn't what I... This is fandom. Fandom built this shit up.
Yeah, they did.
Kind of like they did with, fuck. There's another...
Inferno.
Yeah, kind of like how they did with Inferno.
Basically, except, I haven't learned a damn thing from my last pick.
Basically, Rainiac, what you need to learn is pick a story you like. Don't pick a story fandom likes.
Well, I've done both, actually. I when I first saw Tomb of the Cybermen, I enjoyed it. And then I watched it again, and you'll find out how I feel about it later.
Yeah. Well, you'll definitely find out how I feel. I've always been a little cool on it.
This is one of those things where being like a semi-serious reviewer kind of ruins certain things for me because you spot things.
Oh, yeah.
You have to do analysis, and you spot things you haven't noticed before, and it kind of ruins things.
I will say, one thing about this that I think we could take away from this is that apparently people were really fucking bored back then for them to think that this is one of the best ones.
It is the for some people is the defining Patrick Troughton serial.
I mean, he was very good in it, but
Yeah, he was.
He's a very good doctor.
he's an excellent doctor.
Yeah.
I really like him.
There are some very good scenes here that we'll get into, but
Mm-hmm.
There's also
The thing
some
about-
problems
Yes.
that we'll get into.
I'm just going to get the word out of the way now,
thing
even though I
about
hate it. Problematic. There are parts of this that are problematic.
I mean, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with using the word problematic. It just like you're admitting that that a work has some flaws
Yeah.
that don't hold
So-
up in the modern lens.
But I will
So you're
get to
saying
that
that
later.
the word problematic is problematic?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, what was I gonna say about Tomb of the Cybermen? Yeah, Phantom loves it. I don't know how stuff, but here's a fun fact for y'all. You remember Matt Smith, 11th Doctor?
No, who is that?
No, he was the 11th Doctor. Anyway,
Hmm.
there's a story that's floating around that he called up Stephen Moffat in the middle of the night one time when he was like preparing for the role, and he was ranting and raving because he just watched Tomb of the Cybermen and was and had absolutely fallen in love with Patrick Troughton's performance. So something about Troughton's performance here inspired his 11th Doctor.
Okay.
So, which you can take from that. That
I can
Patrick
sort
Troughton
of
is
see
one of the
it.
good things about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing is that thinking of all the stories they've been in, I don't think I like the Cybermen all that much.
Not in this one.
Not in this one,
yeah.
not in this one, really.
I
But,
think.
I mean, I'm hard pressed to think of like a good Cyberman
Well,
story.
when they came
from
back
the
in
classic
2006, in the two-parter, Rise of the Cybermen and the Age of Steel, their return was a huge thing.
Listen, that was the first Cyberman story I saw. I loved it at the time.
Yeah.
Now, that story's fucking dumb.
I wonder if that's because, absence making the heart grow fonder and all that.
Well, I will stand the one like Cyberman story I really, really still love today, without question. Well, the modern ones are pretty good, like Dark Water, Death in Heaven, and World Enough in Time, Doctor Falls. Those are really good Cyberman stories.
Yep.
Because they really focus on the body horror aspect of
It's
it
almost
all.
like the Cybermen are better when they're not the main focus.
Yeah. And yeah, they aren't the main folk. Yeah, they had the master in those too. But when you just make them stupid robots, they're just like, we're gonna make you like us. It's
Yeah.
Oh god, the voice.
oh,
Yeah.
the voice. Yeah.
Anyway, can we get
let's
to the
get
actual
into-
story itself then?
Yeah. Well, before
Yeah.
that, I think we need a little housekeeping, actually.
Oh,
Because
boy.
the story sort of picks up from the previous serial, Evil of the Daleks.
Which does not exist.
Which doesn't exist.
Well, it's 6/7 doesn't exist. So there's one episode that exists of it. But it's interesting. This is where you get the introduction of the companion you mentioned, Victoria Waterfield, who lives in Victorian times and has been captured by Daleks, and
Mhm.
there's some other bullshit of that. But there's one thing I want to bring up about Evil of the Daleks, because we're probably never going to review it. Even if it gets animated, there have been rumors, according to the TARDIS wiki. But even if it does get animated, I will say it has some of the same problems that Tomb of the Cybermen has. Talking
Yeah.
about.
This is not a reflection, Joe, but
But-
don't take what the mirror says seriously.
Funny you should mention that, because
That was a
Victoria's
terrible
fu-
pun.
No, it's not a
Victoria's-
pun. It's them that have reported that it's going to be animated.
no, the reflection.
You,
Time. You made a pun.
yeah, you said don't take the mirror as a reflection or something like that.
Anyway, Victoria's father is a scientist, and he's done something. And I'm going to give you a screen cap from
God.
the one surviving
Lord.
episode. And this is part of one of his experiments.
Oh,
If I may quote from the wiki, there's two scientists in the story, Maxtable and Professor Waterfield. If I may quote from TARDIS wiki, Maxtable and Waterfield show the Doctor into a comparatively high-tech laboratory and explain that they have been researching time travel through the use of static electricity and a chamber lined with mirrors.
yeah. And Maxtable and her father do get brought up in the opening, so we do have to bring them up.
Yeah, he dies. From
Spoilers,
but-
wow.
Spoilers for
Yeah,
Evil
no,
of the Daleks.
it's pertinent to one of the best scenes in Tomb of the Cybermen,
Yeah.
so we do need to mention it.
But there's no actual mirror alert in Tomb of the Cybermen, but Evil of the Daleks, for all its less savory elements, is going to get one big honk in Doctor Who mirror alert because time travel via mirrors.
One big honking Doctor Who mirror alert. That's the sentence that just came out of your mouth. The goose is loose.
Right. I mean,
Well, they did add multiplayer, so
They did. I've got to get on that because
yes.
Anyway, so the opening of Tomb of the Cybermen is establishing Victoria as companion. So.
yeah.
Yay.
And it's funny you bring up that she's from Victorian times. You would not know this if you didn't know about Evil of the Daleks.
Oh, you really? Well, there's she's a little apprehensive about the length of her skirt when she gets changed.
That
into a more
doesn't
modern
necessarily mean
outfit.
Victorian times. I mean, that could be 60s for certain
Yeah, if you
people.
go, I guess you're right.
That could be the future. She could be from any time period. I didn't know she was Victorian until I found out this week. So,
Well,
I didn't know she was Victorian until I just found out, literally right now.
Anyway, this is a nice little scene. It's just, ooh, wow, this is a weird space-time machine.
yeah.
It's
Finger on the inside,
classic.
yada
It's
yada.
a classic Doctor Who companion invocation.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I like
We've
Victoria.
seen a lot of variations of this over the years, but it's standard. It's nice.
Yeah.
We also get an age for the Doctor, like a canon age for the Doctor at this time, 450.
Yeah, which Victoria says is ancient, which is quite endearing.
And then we get into the tomb of the Cybermen itself.
We do. We also get a lovely reaction to something Jamie says about the Doctor. It says, Doctor, can we have a smooth takeoff this time? Smooth takeoff? Jamie just is not afraid to sass the Doctor and call him out.
Jamie is MVP. Who doesn't love Jamie?
I love Jamie.
I'd argue in this episode Victoria is.
I
love Jamie generally, but I think Deborah Watling is really strong in this.
I think we could put it as Jamie is good as a secondary companion. Obviously, because Victoria's new, they want to give her, a starring role, quote unquote. But they also fall prey to the times. Specifically that Victoria is left behind a lot. She screams a lot. She's the typical damsel in distress who sometimes does something.
And the Times, the Mirror, just include the Daily Mail and the Guardian. You've got the whole set of UK newspapers there.
So, speaking of the Times, we should probably talk about the first person we see on the planet Telos.
We need to talk about Cybermen.
This is part of why I went, you picked Tomb of the Cybermen.
I forgot about this guy initially, which is why I hacked up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just rip off the Band-Aid right now, because this was my fault, because I picked it. So Cyberman is a large, muscly black man. He is the servant for another character called Kaftan, and he's mostly mute. Not the best of looks for 2020 looking back.
And it's not the best thing that when he does talk, it's very much in a sort of
grunting,
jilted, grunting, animalistic way.
I'm going to say it right now, this is not me being racist, this is just what he sounds like, right? It's his portrayal reminds me a bit like a gorilla.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And
that's
as
not me
many
being racist,
people
okay?
know, as many people know, and some of you might not know because, there are a lot of racist terms that even I don't know that I'm sure are out there. And a lot of the times it's a very racist thing that happens where black people get compared to monkeys.
Before I get cancelled, I'm not saying he looks like a gorilla, I'm saying he's playing it like a gorilla.
Yeah,
is there enough of a distinction to not be racist?
I got too.
Yeah.
He sounds like the Hulk, and then he also the Hulk acts a lot like a gorilla too.
I am walking
where he punches and stuff.
I am treading on so many eggshells here, but I'm trying not to offend everybody.
No, honestly, I saw it too, and I know that we're the whitest of the white people who could ever possibly white. but also it's pretty obvious exactly how racist this is.
How do you do, fellow
And-
whites?
Going beyond that, Kaftan and Klieg,
Eric Klieg, yeah.
another guy,
Eric Klieg.
they're basically like everyone else in the story is played as either like British or American, so they have British accents, or one guy
I
he
think
talks
he's
in a
meant
real American accent like this.
Yeah, I think Klieg's meant to be a Soviet.
Yeah, so not the best look that all evil plotty villains are the only people
I
of
will
color.
give the story one pass here. The actor George Pastel often was cast as Soviet villains,
Okay,
so he is
Yeah,
playing the
so-
type.
playing the type.
Still.
Yeah, but still,
Still.
all your villains are like the non-white people.
I will just say one thing about Toberman. If he
non-white,
was
non-British, non-American people.
if he was
You know what I
white,
mean?
if the character was white instead of black,
Mhm.
would you still find him problematic?
Which one?
Toberman.
Toberman?
Yeah.
Not as much, considering, a lot of it is because of his race.
He's
Yeah.
also, by the way, originally supposed to have been deaf, but it just didn't materialize on camera. He was supposed to have a hearing aid, but you never see it. So I think that's just something that they removed from the
Again,
script.
though, if they had that in there, that'd be even worse because now they're treating someone with a disability as a dumb brute, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
mean,
feel
it's bad
uncomfortable.
enough that they do it for someone of color, but if they did it for
I
someone
do
of
feel
color who's
uncomfortable.
also
I do feel
disabled,
bad for selecting this. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, that's already a bad look for Tomb of the Cybermen.
Yeah.
And just wait till we get to the plot.
Oh boy.
So, we are on an archaeological expedition to the planet Telos, searching for the titular tomb of the Cybermen. And we got a real funny moment where they set off dynamite to try and unearth the tomb. And once they blow it up and reveal it, everyone golf claps.
Yeah, man, you blew yourself a pair of doors. Cheering breaks out.
It's like they're cheering just like he got a fucking birdie on a par four.
Nobody.
Wait, hang on. Didn't you say some of them were American?
Yeah, there's one guy that's American.
The
the
captain
rocket pilot.
and another one of his crewmen are meant to be American.
That's why.
Except that Clive Merrison, who plays Jim Callum, is English.
Mm-hmm.
And I think George Ribisek, who plays Captain Hopper, is also English. And that explains a couple of the things that happens with his dialogue a bit later on.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. They, it's obviously British people just playing it up and talking American like this.
Yeah.
So, but, they're meant to be American. You just kind of got to suspend your disbelief. For
American in air quotes.
Mm-hmm. So, when we get to these great big honking doors with Cyberman decals and all this shit, and Kaplan's like, 50 pounds for the first person who opens the doors. Woo! Easy money!
Frying tonight.
Yeah, they're electrified. And at this point, the Doctor and Jamie and Victoria.
By the way, the
arrive.
captain gets the best lie at this point.
What's that?
He just says, well, he's not going to get his £50 now, is he?
Might be a little hard.
His man just died. Come on, Hopper,
This
show some
that reminds
chorus.
me of a Simpsons joke. Now that's what I call breakneck speed. Mom, a man just died. They're watching like a McBain movie or whatever.
It was so insensitive. I was so insensitive that I couldn't help but laugh at that point. But the Doctor and company arrive on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And
This is a
Klieg
very
immediately
hush-hush.
accuses them of causing the death of the man that grabbed the doors. Even though it's painfully obvious to all the audience what happened, really.
Doris was booby-trapped.
Yeah.
Which is something that we'll get into. But anyway,
We get a big exposition dump. We get some character introductions.
this is all a hush-hush secret exposition to uncover the mysterious
Secret exposition!
tomb.
Expedition.
Expedition. Yes. Blech.
Well, he's giving us some exposition, so.
Yeah.
He's giving exposition about the expedition. There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a tongue twister.
I am the modern image of a modern major general. Anyway.
I love you for that.
Thank you. So, and the Doctor and Jamie react like, "Oh no, the Cybermen!" Once they figure out what it is, because they've had a run-in with the Cybermen before on the moon.
I know the Doctor had. I didn't know if Jamie had.
No. There's a second Doctor story where they encounter the Cybermen.
Also, that's Siren. You mentioned the egg.
Yeah.
Move on now.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Kat, go to your happy place. Anyway.
No, it's okay. I'm already there.
So, also a bunch of foreign investors, Klieg and
Captain.
other folks. I think Klieg and Captain, they funded this whole thing, so they're coming along for it.
We've got
Kinda
Harry,
reminds me
the
of that one
expedition
guy.
captain. We've got Viner, the nervous expert. We've got Peter Hayden.
And some other cannon fodder that I forgot to mention.
I don't think we see them again.
Oh no. Harry also says that they're accusing the Doctor of being a rival expedition. So
yeah.
Which
They originally don't want his help, or rather, Klieg doesn't want his help for obvious reasons.
Anyway, the Doctor does a thing to the doors to make him not electrocuted anymore, but neither he or Jamie can quite get him open, so it's up to Tarman to come up and be big, strong guy who opens store goods.
Yeah, well, he is the muscle of the group, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that leads us into the tomb. Oh, there's a really lovely scene. There's a really lovely bit of play between the Dr. Jamie and Victoria, where he's just standing there and they're about to go into the tomb. He's like, "Come along, Victoria." And he takes Jamie's hand. He thinks Victoria's next door. Then he looks over, he sees they're holding hands, and they just pull away.
I do like Victoria in this one.
Followed by the comment about Victoria's skirt, where she's like, no, this skirt's a bit short. Oh, it's perfectly fine. Just look at Jamie's.
I do like the interplay between the... For all this story's faults, I do like the interplay between the human characters.
Well, most of the human characters, they're not really
yeah.
that great to certain people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, once we get into the tomb, immediately the Klieg and Captain and Toberman are immediately just off in the corner, muttering and plotting.
Yeah.
So, evil signposts afoot.
Well, I think Evil Signpost was up when George Pastel was revealed to be playing Eric Klieg, but...
Yeah, but this is all... It's a very interesting set for the 4 weeks we're going to be spending in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
Yeah.
I don't mind the set that much.
No, it's a good set.
I will say the one thing that I think it will be true is that obviously this episode and all these other episodes are in black and white. I honestly think the actual set was that gray.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if there are any color photos of the set.
There probably...
I don't know.
Are not now, no. Those things tend not to survive.
Because I know that there are certain tricks that were used back then in order to make people the right quote-unquote color on television.
I don't
like
have the
for
bonus
the
material
old,
from the DVD, but maybe on there is a colour shot of it. I don't know. So.
Maybe. But honestly, it just feels like, because in the old Addams Family...
Google has anything.
I'll be honest with you.
Let me fucking talk! Damn it!
Go ahead.
You guys keep talking over me.
Go well.
Are you having trouble hearing me or something?
No. Sorry.
No? Oh, okay. I was kind of worried because it's like, dudes, I'm talking. But I was just going to say, in the old Addams Family TV show, in order to make Morticia look that pale, what they did was they painted her a certain color of green. So I'm wondering, was the set actually that gray in life, how it looks, or did they paint it a certain color?
Good point.
I will add to that the TARDIS console, the original black and white one, was painted green. So that's why it shows up so stark white.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I mean.
Right. So what we get for the rest of episode 1 is just a slow exploration of the tomb. It's a very slow build.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
we find some weird shit. There's all sorts of logic gates and logic levers that Klieg, who's a mathematician of some sort, is trying to decipher.
I do like Klieg's resentment here of the Doctor, because the Doctor solves things before him.
There's a really good line that exchange between Klieg and the Doctor that I highlighted. I just got it on the transcript here. So the Doctor knows that this place is based upon a certain type of logic. I don't know math, so I don't know. But they call it symbolic logic. And Klieg is like, well, how did you know that in the first place? Oh, I use my own special technique. Really, Doctor? May we know what that is? Keeping my eyes open and my mouth shut.
Yeah. Looking at TARDIS Wiki, just briefly, symbolic logic was an advanced form of higher mathematics.
Okay, so it's fancy sci-fi logic gate.
I think it's made up, yeah. Basically, I don't think it's based on real logic.
So it's basically a computer.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was real. Because it sounds like all the bullshit math that you learn eventually.
According to this, it's not real, but they've been wrong before, so...
So it sounds like a basic computerized gate, but this is back at the time when the computer took up like an entire warehouse, so...
Yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And then we come across two very interesting things. A sarcophagus, which apparently revitalizes the Cybermen. There's some shenanigans with this, where Captain ends up trying to seal Victoria in it.
For no reason.
She wanted to see what it did.
I want to kill her. I just wanted to see what it did. Well,
I honestly thought that she was going to try to turn Victoria into a Cyberman, because I did not know how the old Cybermen worked at this point.
We don't know if that can be done at this point.
Yeah, so as far as I know, from inferring what I get from the episode, is that Cybermen use parts of humans rather than the whole thing.
It changed throughout their many appearances. I'll touch on this more when we get to the Cybermen themselves, but they've had the most changes, I think, of any of the classic Doctor Who monsters over the years.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is only their third story, but it is their second consistent appearance. They looked the same in the previous story, but in their first, they were Mondasian Cybermen.
Yeah,
you know how they
in World Enough in Time.
World Enough in Time. Yeah, so you know how they looked in their first appearance. So it was completely changed for the redo. But anyway, another new Cyberman element that is introduced in this story is the most adorable one.
These Cybermats.
And Rainiac, I've got the perfect picture for you to use for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're
really
exaggerating it, but they legitimately have googly eyes.
You can put the real one in now, I don't care.
I have a question. Why googly eyes?
Hey,
I don't know.
Listen. It worked for the fish people in the Underwater Menace. It works here. The greatest BBC budget saver of all time. Googly eyes.
Everything comes back to the Underwater Menace. God damn it.
Well, the funny thing is, when you look at the close-up photo of the Cybermat, whenever they have their eyes open, there's like little veins in the eyes as well. And it's really creepy, actually.
It's actually a well-done effect, but come on, it's googly eyes.
I don't remember if the Cybermen ever showed up, if the Cybermats ever showed up again before Closing Time, the 11th Doctor episode. Because I remember that was a big thing. It's like,
I don't know, but I know in Closing Time they looked a lot better when they didn't have eyes.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta love the googly eyes.
There's a certain charm to them, yeah.
Yeah. And, well, beyond that, we're still exploring the tunes, but here's an element of the story that I feel is kind of... It doesn't make sense in the grander scheme of things, but you can see how things improved with time. And, Kat pinned it. Oh my god! Listen, I checked the pinned messages, and what I saw along with the Google Cybermen was that one edit you made for Terror of the Third Voice. Oh god.
I'm not putting that up again, but if you watch the Terror of the Third Voice review, it's there.
Yeah, let's we say that. Anyway, y'all like Sylvester McCoy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know how Sylvester McCoy and other doctors, in their own way, do that thing where they subtly are master planners leading the antagonists on and, manipulating them to their own ends. It kind of feels that's what the second Doctor could be doing in the story, but it doesn't really go anywhere because there's a bit of a line where the second Doctor, or Patrick Troughton, is talking to Klieg about math and logic and shit, and he basically tells him the answer to the logic problem. So here's the answer to what you have to do, but
don't do it.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. I really wouldn't do that if I.
Honestly, I don't think it's a case of him trying to mess with the dude. I think it's a case of I really, really want to know what's in here.
Is it possible
but
that
he won't let me get near that, so I'm just going to do it for him and let him do it.
Is it possible he was testing Klieg?
He might have.
To see if he would do it.
It feels too sincere to be testing, though. It feels like he honestly wants to know what the heck is inside this tomb.
Yeah.
Well, he knows.
But you can see. You can see where the reading could come from. That
I absolutely can, yeah.
Because McCoy was initially very trapped.
While this is all going on, then we've got the group have split into different factions, and one faction is Jamie and Peter Hayden,
and they find
the weapon testing range,
and they start pulling levers and shit.
Okay, why is it, particularly in science fiction, that people come across a control panel and always push buttons and pull levers without knowing what the hell they do?
Because someone needs to be an idiot in the story. And Peter Hayden is just that guy. And for his troubles, the episode 1 cliffhanger ends with an apparent Cyberman coming out and shooting him dead. Oh no.
Yeah. Before this,
it actually wasn't.
A pattern on the wall hypnotizes Jamie first. And then Hayden intentionally gets hypnotized. And they're fiddling around with it, and as the Doctor comes in, Cyberman appears, as you say, into the room, and a gunshot goes out, and poor Hayden falls down dead as a doornail.
But
I will say that, although they try to make it look like the Cyberman is the one that does the shooting, or at least to the other characters they do, it's pretty obvious that the gun that the Cyberman is holding is not the one that shot him. You could tell where the other shot came from really easily. So it's
I'll make allowances for the fact that in the 60s, TVs were way shittier and the shit wasn't like restored.
Oh no, I'm saying that they did that on purpose. So then they would show us that there was something else in the room, not just specifically the Cyberman.
That's
because it gets to the next part in episode 2 where they're like, oh no, he was shot by a Cyberman. There was a Cyberman there. Don't activate it. He might come back. And the Doctor's like, are you guys idiots? He was shot in the back.
Basically, yeah. So this is actually a weapons testing range, is Rainier.
Yeah.
And they have a dummy Cyberman with no organic components in it to test their weapons on for target practice or something like that.
The Doctor demonstrates this by blowing its head off.
Yeah. And anyway, Victoria finds the little Cyberman, and the Doctor says, oh, that's actually pretty dangerous. You should probably get rid of that thing. And she just shoves it in her bag.
But it actually proves to be helpful later on.
Well, yeah, but...
It's Chekhov's Cybermat.
Oh, I love the little boy.
Did you just call it the little googly boy?
So... The bweepy boy.
Oh my god. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Moving on, the expedition leader, I forget the character's name.
Parry.
Professor Parry. He's basically like, okay, listen, 2 people are dead. Fuck this. We're out of here. At which point the rocket pilot comes in and tells them that the ship has been sabotaged and they can't go anywhere.
And it's not specifically stated who's done it, but we know who's done it from the dialogue.
Oh yeah,
prior to this, Captain's sent Tobin to do something, and then he returns and says it is done.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the captain is saying, somebody sabotaged the rocket, you just cut over his shoulder, and Tobin's got this big shit-eating grin on his face.
And the Doctor has
it's
a
clearly
line.
Toberman.
Where? Let me find the line. Yeah, hang on. Yeah. Because Toberman tries to stop the Doctor from getting somewhere to bothering Klieg, And the doctor just says, "It's all right, James. It's okay. Mr. Tobin has very strong hands." Captain agrees, very strong. Enough to do a good deal of damage if let loose in the right place.
Yeah. As I say, it's inferred, it's not outright stated, but it's clearly hidden.
Yeah. So they've stranded everyone on Telos. Not like they haven't like outright destroyed the ship, but given them just enough time that they have to stay there for more days to do their investigation. So that they can do whatever they're going to do.
This is also our first instance of an actor flubbing their lines in the show, in the story.
Oh, you haven't seen that much William Hartnell?
No, in this particular story, I said.
Oh, in this story, yeah. Where's that?
Captain Hopper flubs his line when he's talking to Viner about steps.
Mm-hmm.
He says it twice and they leave it in.
So at this point, Klieg has cracked the logic gate, and he can open the really big, conspicuous hatch in the center of the tomb.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to explore, but as you alluded to before, the women have to stay behind because it could be dangerous down there.
This is very 60s.
Yeah.
Very 60s.
And here's where I'm going to make my case that, okay, watching this now in 2020, obviously we see this has got some problems.
Yep.
Yeah.
But in the 60s, I'm not going to say those problems didn't exist, but they weren't seen as problems. It's a product of its time. You can't say that the writers were racist or sexist.
Oh no, we absolutely can.
You can, looking at it from a modern eye, yes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We can say that it's the product of the times, and we're from we're in 2020, so we see something different. But does that make what they were doing in the 60s right?
No, I'm not excusing it. I'm not
times.
excusing it. I'm explaining it.
I know, but still, it doesn't make it right.
And you've got to be careful that you don't go too far the other way. There is a thing called presentism where you look at the past and you apply the modern lens too much.
Have you ever seen that disclaimer that Warner Brothers has put over old?
I have, yeah. This is a very similar thing to it.
Yeah. One of the lines that strikes me about that is that they say unambiguously, these caricatures were wrong then and are wrong today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like saying, oh, well, they didn't know any better. It's like, no, it was bullshit back then, too.
God, I'm going to lose so many friends for this, but I'm not trying to defend it at all.
Oh, no, I know. I'm just saying that... Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that saying something is a product of the times is an excuse in and of itself.
But recently, if I may bring up a real-world example, there was an example of taking presentism too far, where the Natural History Museum is debating removing its exhibition on Charles Darwin because they said that he was racist. He was so racist that he supported emancipation. Charles Darwin was not a racist by any stretch of the imagination. He supported emancipation because all his family did. He argued with the captain of the Beagle, Captain Fitzroy, about it. He saw slaves in foreign countries and apparently was furious about it. He was not a racist. But just because he's a Victorian figure...
That is quite obviously wrong. That is quite obviously wrong.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that there is no real excuse for what happened in the past.
Absolutely not.
The fact that people were outright racist, sexist, and it was maybe certain people were not racist or sexist, and they just went along with what other people thought.
I'm trying to have a debate by playing devil's advocate.
Well, just let me say what I want to say.
Please
here,
do.
So I can try and get this out.
Go ahead.
Society in itself dictates a lot of what we say, do, and think. There is a theory that the first thought you think is what you are conditioned to think. The second thing that you have is what you personally think. So it's a known thing that society does have a big, part of exactly who you are. It can condition you to think certain ways, to be certain ways. Like, nowadays racism is still seen as bad, but there's a lot of it that we haven't fixed yet. Sexism is still seen as bad. There's a lot of it we haven't fixed yet because it's been so ingrained in society pretty much since the beginning of America, when the first Europeans came over here, that, people of color were lesser than white people. That doesn't make it any less wrong or, right in any sense. It's still the fact that it was wrong of them to do. We have to remember that this is just what they were thinking back then. Exactly. And at the time, they thought it was right. It wasn't, but if we delve too deep into that, then we miss out on a lot of important things. Like, H.P. Lovecraft was a huge racist, and we know he was racist because of what he named his cat. Don't look it up. Trust me, you'll be sad.
And to give some props to Big Finish, they've recently put out a story involving Lovecraft, and they did not shy away from the fact that he was a horrendous racist.
Yeah, it's like he contributed a lot to fantasy and science fiction with the idea of Cthulhu and all the others. So it's like you're allowed to like things that certain people have made. I'm sorry, I'm going to bring this up, but I like Harry Potter. I don't like J.K. Rowling anymore. She's a terrible person now.
Absolutely valid.
And that's perfectly valid to do. You're allowed to like a work that you don't necessarily agree with the person who's doing it. So I like Doctor Who, and I like classic Doctor Who. I just don't agree with what they put into it sometimes. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of this discussion could apply to that story as well.
That's one of the defenses I was going to make, or partial defense to Toby.
I will say,
Brainiac, he's a bad stereotype, right?
Yeah.
But it's better than dressing up a white actor in yellowface.
Yeah, like a product of its time is a defense that defenders of that story will use too. So I don't really believe in it as much. But I will say one.
So the upshot of this is basically I've been cancelled several times over tonight.
Oh yeah, I will say one thing though. Do I think that the writers of Tomb of the Cybermen were being deliberately racist?
No, they were not.
Do I
think that they let inherent prejudices of the time and place influence their writing of the story? And
they let society dictate
and whatnot.
That's exactly what I would say, yes.
That happened. So it's not that they tried to do it, it's just society and what it believed at the time fed into it.
Yeah.
So
society. You need society anyway.
Anyway,
essentially that's the one big problem I have with saying something is a product of its times. It's like that's just an excuse for saying that it's racist, but it came from a time where everybody was racist, so it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, everyone will say, most people say, I'm not a racist, but I'm saying right now, I'm not a racist. I'm trying...
There's no but in that. There's no but in that. I don't care what race you are, what country you're from, what, religion you like. If you want to be something or you are something, then I want you to be or, just be that.
Yeah.
If you're black, if you're Asian, if you're Christian or Buddhist or I don't know, if you believe in the flying spaghetti monster, do what you like. Just don't hate other people for things that they sometimes can't help.
Yeah, but basically, I'm not just going to boil it down to the simplicity of don't be a dick, although that is important. But it's one thing to have your own views. It's one thing to have your own views, right? It's another thing to try and push those views on people who don't want to have them pushed on them.
Yeah. Your views and opinions are like a dick. You can have it. You can do whatever you want with it. You can give it to people who want it, but don't shove it in people's faces. Don't push it upon kids, so on and so forth.
Don't insert it in their mouths without their consent.
Yes.
God, y'all. So, yeah.
And I apologize.
We've been doing a Doctor Who thing.
I apologize if this conversation is making people uncomfortable. So, I do apologize for that, but it needs to be said. It needs to be talked about.
Well, good. If it makes them uncomfortable, then that's a good thing.
Yeah.
They need to be uncomfortable.
I think that's about all that we need to say for now on of Tomb of the Cybermen's problematic elements. If that were the only problem with it, then there's more to it. But
we have another problem coming up very shortly. So
we're going down in the hatch.
The hatch is open. The women have been asked to stay behind. Originally, Toberman is going to stay to guard the ladies. Then they want Toberman to come down with them because, his strength will be useful, and it will.
Yep.
And they said, well, he's got to stay with us. Oh, in that case, I'll stay here with him. And so the Doctor plays Kaftan here and gets Toberman to come down with them.
And he wants Victoria to be
keep
his
an eye
eyes
on
and
her,
ears
yes.
up there.
And this is the thing that makes it's not so much to say, oh, yes, of course, the women must be protected at all costs. He's actually saying, well, you're more useful here. I need someone to keep an eye on Kaftan. She's suspicious as hell right now.
Again, it's very master manipulator.
Yeah, he's got a reason. He's got a legitimate reason for doing this, other than her protect the women.
But yeah,
I mean, it doesn't work. But
no, it doesn't work because within 5 minutes of him saying this to Victoria has been roofied.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that in this future they eat food in pill form, which is very retro sci-fi, isn't it?
Well, the cube food is very similar to astronaut food in real life.
God's sake. Well, they are astronauts.
Question.
Yeah.
Other than closing the hatch, was there any reason for Kaftan to drug Victoria?
Yeah, so that she doesn't get interrupted while closing the hatch.
Doesn't she have a gun?
Yeah, but she wants to keep them alive as much as possible because they need subjects.
Why couldn't then she just
pull the gun on Victoria? Yeah, I know.
Take her into the sarcophagus room, lock her in there again.
Yeah.
And then come out and close the hatch.
Because these villains are very, very stupid.
They're logical, which means they're stupid.
Yes. Well, yes, but also, I would be such a good villain, wouldn't I?
But yeah,
scarily so, yes.
I know, but we're down in the spooky ice now, which Klieg eventually shows his true colors once everyone gets sealed up, and he pulls out a gun and he's just like, "Now we're gonna defrost the Cybermen! Ha 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 ha! It's all my plan all along."
Fooled you.
Which Which the Doctor. This is one of the other flaws with Tomb of the Cybermen. It's kind of fucking dumb. You can I'm not one to complain about the plot hole paper over. Man, you could drive a truck through a lot of these logic leaps. The Doctor, who helped them get into the tombs in the first place, gave Klieg the advice he needed to crack the code and all this other shit. He wanted to know what Klieg was up to, so he let all this shit happen. Instead of, stopping him. Because writers gotta eat and we wouldn't have a fucking story. So the master manipulator stuff just kind of flies out the window at this point because the Doctor just basically let all this shit happen so there'd be a story.
Yeah.
Before all that, Kaftan has Victoria. Once she wakes up, she's got Victoria at gunpoint. She's like, "Don't you try to open that hatch. Not until Klieg finishes his grand plans." And it's at this point that the Cybermat in Victoria's bag wakes up and chews its way out and comes towards Kaftan.
Yeah.
And Victoria's doing the "look behind you." No, really, look behind you. Oh my god.
Yeah, but she's not doing it as a ploy. It's really happening.
There's really
something there.
Which it gets Kaftan. And meanwhile, we get to the image that every 8-year-old who saw this story on first broadcast.
Yeah, so Klieg revealed his true colours at this point. He's fiddled with the control panel, and the Cybermen are starting to defrost and thaw out.
And break out of their tombs.
Yeah, Vinus sees this and tries to reverse it, and Klieg just shoots him, but the way that he shoots him is stupid, because he clearly shoots him in the hand. There's even a mark on his hand, but he's been shot in the chest and he's dead.
Christ's sakes. I will give the story of this. The image of the Cybermen breaking out of their tombs is striking and memorable. It's one of those, classic Doctor Who moments that sticks in the mind of the general public.
This is where being someone who critiques this show, kind of is a detriment, because yes, it's an iconic shot, but then you realise that's just plastic sheeting they're cutting through.
It's just plastic. Yeah, I know. It's the 60s. Everything's bubble wrapped.
The iconic scene of the Cybermen cutting through plastic sheets.
I will say it's really funny when later essentially the Doctor manages to get to the console and starts, reversing the process. But by doing so, he literally reverses the process.
Yeah, basically. But anyway, the Cybermen burst out, and they've got a wonderful 60s theme.
Yeah, this music is iconic. This particular theme is iconic.
And the Cybermen burst out, and they're talking like, the Cybermen voices are. Well, this is only the second attempt they had at Cybermen. I think we heard the first attempt of Mondasian Cybermen in World Enough in Time, where they talk in a weird stilted tone. They kind of talk like this.
Doctor!
Like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But for the second Doctor era, they sort of just add this machine filter. And half the time I couldn't understand what the they were saying.
Yeah.
They're just dogging like this.
It sounds like, is it Jimbo from South Park?
Yeah! That's what it does.
Ned.
Yeah. You belong to us.
Or Kane from WWF.
Like us. Oh, God. But, yeah.
If you do not let me out of the tomb, I will set myself on fire.
Which doesn't help the idea that these are more than just stupid, dumb robots and not like body horror people. Hello, Chris Chibnall. How are you doing?
Klieg reveals his true colours here. He says he refers to the Brotherhood of he's part of the Brotherhood of Logicians.
And he wants to get the Cybermen out of here
as his captain.
Take over the world.
Funnily enough, not Toberman. Toberman is not a willing participant in all this.
But another thing that doesn't make any goddamn sense when you think about it for more than 2 seconds is the Cybermen's entire gimmick here with the tomb.
I do like him just crushing Klieg by the hand.
Oh yeah. That's
a great
I will say there is one thing about this though, is that this entire time they were frozen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason they put like these really embarrassing ice effects on them, and it kind of made me think of this.
What have you linked? It's not loading. Hang on.
What? I see it.
Raniac.
With all the McCoy comparisons I've been making, unlimited rice pudding certainly does fit.
Here comes the airplane for baby.
Here comes the airplane.
Oh God, don't even.
Anyway, the Cybermen's plan doesn't make much sense down here either. And I don't mean just convert people, no.
Yeah.
Their whole thing is they've frozen themselves, and they're waiting specifically for really smart people to solve all the puzzles and survive all the booby traps in the tomb.
What about that doesn't make any sense?
Why aren't they out, conquering the universe?
Survival. Well, they will when they've got the best specimens to make into Cybermen.
I mean, that's not really how Cybermen... They don't exactly retreat tactically or any shit like that.
Yeah,
they just
fair enough. These were the early versions of the Cybermen.
Here's the problem, though, Raniac. Who exactly solved all of the logic puzzles in this episode?
The Doctor.
The Doctor and Klieg.
It wasn't really Klieg. It's going to be pretty much just the Doctor. Which means that the smartest person that they have is the one person who can also defeat them. But
they don't know this yet.
No.
Well, no. But there's also still the fact that if you get some very smart humans are survivalists. They're going to think outside the box and not entirely by logic.
But the Cybermen underestimate humanity constantly.
Exactly.
I don't have a problem with this plan.
It's a stupid plan. It's a stupid plan because you're asking some of the smartest people that are around to come and release you.
Well, the Cybermen work
all they have to do is just not.
The reason why Klieg is a perfect sort of foil here is that both he and the Cybermen work off cold logic. But cold, unfeeling logic has its weaknesses.
Here's the thing, though. Here's what I'd argue. Solving all the puzzles with logic, though, too. That's fine. Why in the holy fuck is the entire place booby trapped then? Why would you want to kill your smart people?
Okay, fine. I can't excuse it. It's bullshit.
If it was done by somebody other than the Cybermen, then that would be, something that I could believe.
I tried to present a case for the defense, but you're not having it, so it's fine.
Anyway, the Cybermen, they know of the Doctor from the previous encounters they had with him in 10th Planet and the Moon Base.
Yeah, can we talk a bit about the Cybermen's design here?
Oh boy!
Because as I say, the Cybermen are perhaps the one major staple monster that have undergone the most changes throughout the many years of Doctor Who. In 10th Planet, they were Mondasians. Mm-hmm. Then in the Moon Base, they look like this.
I haven't seen the Moon Base in a while.
Or was this their first appearance as this form?
I don't remember. I think it was the same.
We don't get what was considered the classic Cybermen design until the 70s and 80s.
Well, we get the invasion, and that's like 1968, 1969.
Yeah, is that the first appearance of the classic Cybermen? Yeah. Now that's a good design. That's a good design.
Yeah. That's an iconic design. That shows up once
not
more.
So much. It's got the workings of it. It's got the handles on top of the head. The face doesn't quite look Cyberman-like yet.
Yeah.
And the little gap for their mouth, you can kind of see the actor's tongue moving inside of it when you shouldn't.
Oh my Lord.
The chest units look quite good.
Yeah.
The cyber lead has not got a chest unit. He's just got like this slick silver suit with wires on the arms. Mm-hmm. Quite like that. But the cyber lead also has something sticking out the top of his head, which is not handles.
Oh boy!
It kind of looks like something suggestive.
It looks like a dildo.
I think it's meant to be his exposed brain, but it looks like that.
I think that's what they do when they bring back this class of Cyberman for Colin Baker's era. Is that it's a big brain dome thing?
And I'm sorry, but hello, Target. Seriously?
Oh my God!
Why wouldn't you shoot the giant glass brain?
Anyway, Jamie legs it once the Cyberman, and then that leads to them having Force Lightning.
Yes.
Force Lightning?
It also leads to them fighting with Toberman, and you can clearly see the harness on Toberman when he's lifted up.
In my notes, you can fucking see that. Like, okay, that is definitely something that you probably wouldn't have seen in the 60s on a really fuzzy old black and white TV, but with like digital restoration.
Yeah, that's the problem with digital restoration sometimes.
Yeah. So that probably would have flown a lot better in now, but
honestly, when it comes to certain restorations and adding things onto movies, maybe you should just don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Okay,
but that
was terrible. I'm sorry.
Meanwhile, up above, some more foolishness. Where, so Captain's been attacked by the Cybermen. She's passed out. Victoria goes to get help from people. They're fiddling with the hatch to try and open it up. And while this is happening, Captain is just playing knocked out. And she sneaks and gets her gun back. Good job not keeping an eye on her.
But it's just led to a great little bit where I've got 2 words written in my notes.
I've got 2 words written in my notes too.
Those 2 words, tactical screaming.
Distracting screaming.
We do love a bit of tactical screaming on Doctor Who, but actually she does a very good job here, Victoria.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I also have 2 words for this one. Bad editing. Because at one point, Victoria actively looks at her while she has her face up turned towards them.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
At least that's what the editing implies. And then it's like, how do you not see her?
Anyway, Catherine is disarmed and held at gunpoint by Callum. The other expedition member, the Captain Hopper, decides to open the hatch and go down there and see what he can find and do. He also calls Victoria Vic.
Yeah, which is a cute little touch.
And she's like, "Don't call me Vic," and he continues to call her Vic. So
Luckily, he has his smoke grenade.
Yeah. What? Why? Why?
I don't know, but everyone but Toberman manages to get out.
Yeah. Toberman is left to the wolves.
Toberman and Klieg.
Klieg is also left behind. Yeah.
They managed to get. Klieg manages to get out.
And actually, before we move on, there was one thing that this scene of them down in the I guess you could call it the tomb, the catacombs.
Oh no!
Whatever.
Is this a bit?
There is.
I'm sensing another editing. I'm sensing
there is
another
one
editing.
thing that this reminds me of, and honestly, you've already seen it today.
Oh boy!
Is this a
Just
bit?
a few minutes ago.
Oh, what?
This is a bit.
God,
this is a bit.
You brought it back.
The run back. The run back is real.
I don't believe this.
I saw the photo while I was looking for photos of stuff from this episode, and I saw that. It's like, that looks familiar.
It's a better comparison than I was going to go for. I was going to go for those 4 excited guys for the Twilight Princess premiere. But
Oh god.
before
Anyway.
they look excited, it's like
I can safely say that's my last edit.
So,
For
I
now.
don't believe you.
Klieg, the absolute determined idiot, is still convinced he can make a deal with the Cybermen to take over the world. Even after they, clearly didn't listen to reason. And they try. Get Klieg. They try to lock him up in that room, the weapons testing room.
He gets to the hatch and he starts pounding on the hatch.
So they let him out.
And the doctor, is that the Cyberman trying to break? No, listen to the pounding. It's too soft for that. It's Klieg. And despite the fact that Klieg has shot and killed a man and left them all to die, they let him up.
Yep.
I can understand, doing the right thing, like trying to be the better men about it. But
yeah. Well, then they do another bit of foolishness where they lock Klieg and Captain in the weapons testing with the fucking Cyberman dummy holding an actual gun.
2 things about it. 1, they put him in there because there's 1 entrance, so they can keep an eye on them at all times. And 2, they didn't know the cyber gun actually worked.
They didn't know.
You know where else has only one entrance? The sarcophagus room.
Yeah.
Oh well.
The one that doesn't actually have a gun.
Anyway, Klieg and Captain's grand plan now is to take the gun, and the Cybermen will listen to us for sure. We got this. We'll have the
Might makes right, except it doesn't. But
except it doesn't. Well, this leads to the best scene of the episode, but not involving Klieg and Captain. This is a quiet.
Yeah. Well, before this, poor Toberman has been left to the wolves here.
Yeah.
And the wolves convert him.
They also send up a bunch of Cybermats.
Oh God, yes.
Bleepy boopy boys.
But before the bleepy boopy boys, we get the best scene of the entire thing.
This is one of the best remembered stories, and for good reason. This is good. This is genuinely a lovely.
This is the other reason why I wanted to choose this story, because this is a lovely scene.
This is a very Stephen Moffat-like scene. I wouldn't be surprised if he was inspired by it.
It kind of gave me, Thea Mates Companions of Us All vibes.
Yeah. So the Doctor and Victoria are talking. It's just a nice little scene about Victoria having to travel with them, losing her father, being so sad about it. And the Doctor gets a lovely line about remembering his family and all the people he's lost. And Victoria says, "Well, you're so old, you must forget them." Well, I can remember them if I want to, but I have to want to. Until then, they sleep in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. It is just a really nice scene.
And then he gets the absolute killer line. He says to her, "Our lives are different to everyone else's. There's nobody in the universe that we can do what we're doing." I love that. That's like really a perfect 2-line summing up of the Doctor's life.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you see, there's so we can say nice things about this.
Oh, absolutely. This is the absolute highlight.
Yeah.
That is the best scene. You can put it in
now
any
back
story.
to shitting on this episode's.
Well, I don't mind the Cybermat confrontation either, actually.
I love the Cybermats. I mean, but it's not in a this is genuinely good way. It's sort of a goofy, oh my god, they're so cute.
So what you're saying to me is find a way to send you a little Cyberman.
I mean, do you know where I live?
You're going to send him a woodlash?
Yes.
I don't think you'll get that through the customs at Canada.
I know where I absolutely know where you live.
Mm-hmm.
That could be taken as a threat. Also, it's his birthday in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it is my birthday in 2 weeks. 13 days from now.
Hey.
That may or may not be relevant for 2 weeks' time on this podcast, but we'll find out.
If we don't get delayed anymore, my pick will be next for my birthday week.
Wow, just throwing down the gauntlet to me there. Don't you dare delay us again.
Well, if you delay us again, we're just going to pick, so I get my birthday week.
Damn.
See, I've thought of everything.
Foiled again.
Cybermats attack. Everyone thwarts him off. Then Klieg and Captain come out with their cyber gun. Ooh, we're going to get you. Now you'll have to listen to us. Bang. Oh no, you shot him. He's killed.
The cliffhanger is, watch out, Doctor.
Bang.
It's just somebody shouting, watch out, Doctor, and a gunshot. You don't hear who is shouting it. You don't see who is shouting it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see who gets shot. But the way the Cybermats are put out of commission by the Doctor, he lays an electrical cable across the floor.
Oh yeah, he shot.
And it sort of shorts them out. And then he gets a really bad pun.
God.
You could say they've had a complete mental breakdown. My eyes rolled at that. I don't know about yours. And you know I'm not interested in making bad puns on Twitter.
So, cliffhanger resolution. They shot Callum with the gun.
Yes.
But they only shot him in like the shoulder or something, so he's hurt but not killed.
They weren't actually aiming for him. Apparently they were aiming for the Doctor.
Right.
It's in the novelization, but Klieg actually says, we let him live. It's like,
oh yeah, sure.
You still shot him.
All right, so Klieg's got the gun now. He's in control of this entire situation, and the dumb idiot really thinks he can still bargain with an entire fleet of Cybermen with one cyber gun. God. Brotherhood of Logicians, my ass.
Well, it sort of works because they open the hatch and the leader comes up and they threaten him with a gun.
Okay, yeah, great. They threaten the leader.
But there's this one thing that I don't think this is brought up in other Cybermen stories. I think this is a concept that did not carry over. This idea that they constantly need energy to survive.
Yeah, that's... I don't remember.
I don't remember that in the invasion.
I don't remember. I'm not that well versed in Cyberman stories.
It sounds like they need to switch over to Duracell.
Anyway, they've been frozen for a while, so maybe, it could have something to do with that. But
yeah.
Anyway, the cyber controller.
But Frez, putting batteries in the freezer makes them last longer.
I somehow doubt that.
It's actually apparently true. So
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But they allow the cyber leader to revitalize. So it marches away to the sarcophagus room.
This is another grand plan by the Doctor, where Jamie protests that the Doctor is helping the cyber control shit, and then the Doctor's just like, "Well, would you rather have him out here or in there?" And they tie him up with ropes to keep him in. Great idea. Yeah. Excellent plan. Oh wait,
except that Jamie can't tie a knot for shit.
Well, either that or the cyber controller is really strong.
And the Doctor even says, if we get out of this alive, Jamie, remember to teach you how to make a proper knot.
Christ's sakes.
Which again, I love Patrick Troughton in the story. For all the bad stuff that's happening around him, he is doing great.
Another thing I want to bring up regarding the nationality of the villains. Remember how you said that the guy who played Klieg got typecast as a Soviet bad guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to take over the world with evil robots that in the 60s could be read as a parable.
He wants to take over the world.
You will become exactly like us. Think like we do all this shit?
Yep.
That sounds like commentary. Yikes.
That sounds like the Red Scare to me.
Yeah.
Not for the first time. That's a yikes from me, dog.
Yeah, that's another thing about this story. We're gonna.
Yeah.
So basically, if you just tune in at this point, what we've basically established is I make the worst decisions ever. I am the worst person to pick Doctor Who episodes.
Honestly, Rainiac, just wait until you hear my choices.
My peak was the Curse of Fenric, clearly.
My peak was... I don't know what my peak was. Warrior's Gate? Snake Dance?
I suppose I did alright with Enlightenment, but then it was all downhill from there.
Oh, Enlightenment was solid.
We've had Inferno, we've had this, and probably 3 weeks' time I'll pick something else terrible, like, I don't know.
Well, my peak was the Twin Dilemma.
Yeah, sure
For more reasons than one, that was your peak.
Anyway, you want to run us through the story of it? I've been through for a while.
Yeah, basically, Captain buys the farm here because the Cyberman breaks out of the sarcophagus. He goes to open the hatch. Suddenly, Captain has an attack of, I don't know, conscious or just, this is a bad idea. She shoots him. The gun doesn't work. He shoots her. The gun works. She's dead now. But this is a bad idea because this breaks Toberman out of... Oh, we should mention, by the way, Toberman has been brought up with the Cyber Leader.
Oh, yeah.
But he's been converted.
Half converted.
His right arm is metal now.
Yeah.
And, which is why
Was it?
Yeah. He's got a metal arm.
Oh.
And when he comes out from the sheet that they bring him back to life under, I got Frankenstein parallels.
Maybe that's
Well, they use electricity to revive him, and he's under a sheet.
Okay.
Whether that was intentional or not, that's kind of the idea I got from it.
Just like Paul McGann.
We've done it again, kind of.
I changed my mind. I peeked at the movie.
I mean, the movie did have a Disney princess Paul McGann, so that's better than this.
Oh, I should mention. I mentioned this in Discord. So I have to now. Is that Victoria's intro in Evil of the Daleks is very Disney princess sort of girl princess captured in the tower stuff, but then Daleks show up.
Okay, problematic elements be damned. I want to see that episode converted into an animation now.
Well, you're in luck because the episode this happens is one of the.
It's the surviving one. Excellent.
Yeah. Along with the explanation of the mirror time machine.
Yeah, but we'll skim through that.
Yeah. Okay. But
and then dumb move. So Toberman now is he's sort of torn because he's been converted to a half Cyberman, but Captain, his mistress, Oof, is dead. Ugh. So the Doctor appeals to his human nature. And surprisingly, Toberman actually responds to this and fights off the Cyber Leader, and does a pretty good job of it, actually.
You can put some Jim Ross over this easy.
By God! He's president of the Controls King! As God of my witness, he is broken in half.
Let's be fair, he doesn't do a great job because at one point the Cyberman just sort of picks him up and like suplexes him. So.
That was before. Now definitely Toberman is in the
the wrestling. There's judo chops, and then Toberman eventually hoists the Cyberman
in the second fight. Toberman is definitely the one on top here,
and he just pile drives the Cyberman into the control.
He just hooks him into the control, which somehow doesn't explode.
Mm-hmm.
And that's enough to knock the Cyberman down for the apparent count. They then go to open the hatch because the Doctor wants to make sure that the Cybermen can't wake up again. Pretty reasonable. But they do a dumb thing here. They let Clee get away with a gun.
Why the fuck?
He does the same thing that Captain does, where Captain was feigning that she was knocked out. Clee does the same thing.
Oh, for Christ's
Because Toberman knocks him out, by the way. We've got to mention this.
Judo chop.
Yeah, Toberman judo chops him into unconsciousness.
Ryan, can you tell me why I wrote that Cyberman is...
That Cyberman is what? Sorry, you cut out.
That Cyberman is vaping.
Oh, I know why.
Yeah.
Because when they open the hatch, two Cybermen are trying to get through into the main room. Jamie takes the cyber gun and shoots one of them, and smoke billows out of the mouth.
Okay, that's why the Cyberman's vaping. Thank you. I was too vague in my note.
And then that's such a good effect, they never show it again because he shoots the second one off camera.
So, once again, Klieg betrays everyone, and for sure, absolutely, going to make a deal with the Cybermen to take over the.
Yeah, despite the fact that Captain's dead and Toberman is a half machine hybrid now, he still thinks he can make a deal with them.
Again, Brotherhood of Logicians.
And there's a great bit here where the Doctor momentarily plays to his ego.
Oh, this is actually a real bit. I'll give the episode that. He's just buttering this guy up. Oh, yes, I can see your power, your logic. Yes, it's supreme. You'll rule the world as supreme controller.
Yeah, so maybe it's not too late for me to join you and all that. And then he says, now I know you're bad. I just wanted to make sure.
I love it.
Yeah. And this is where he is being a bit of a manipulator because he's appealing to his ego long enough for something to happen.
I wrote in my notes that this made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Klieg is just monologuing, and almost Cyberman grabs him from behind.
And throttles him to death off camera again.
I laughed
out
loud at it.
But you could say that Troughton's done... the Doctor's done this to distract him long enough for the Cyberman to grab him.
Yeah.
You could make that reading of it.
You could. And then Toberman
we should also
comes
mention
in.
that by this point, Jamie has also joined them because he snuck down after the
somebody
Doctor,
sneaks
so he's
behind.
down there too.
Someone sneaks behind Klieg at first. You think, is it a Cyberman? No, it's actually just Jamie.
Yeah.
And so he's held at gunpoint with Toberman and the Doctor. And then Klieg gets offed. Before he gets off, he says to them, "You're decadent weak." So yeah, I think he really was supposed to be a Soviet here.
God Almighty.
And then they have to dispose of the Cyberman that's just taken care of Klieg for them. So we get more fighting.
And a foamy chess piece.
We get a really violent bit where Toberman just rips the chess piece off.
Like foam and shit.
And we get the answer to the question, what does a Cyberman's chess unit contain? Apparently goo.
Yep. And the Doctor and Jamie literally reverse the effect.
They literally just reverse the footage.
So yeah, the Cybermen's grand plan was to get unfrozen. And once they were unfrozen, they just sort of stuck around in the ice tombs and waited for people to freeze them again.
So the day is saved, but the Doctor wants to make absolutely sure this never happens again. He says, I'm going to re-electrify the room, but to be actually sure, I'm going to electrify the hatch and the controls. Anyone who touches it will get a fatal electric shock.
Yay, fake murder!
Oh no, the cyber controller lived!
Yeah.
Oh no!
So everyone else has left at this point. The survivors are Toberman. Oh, this is the thing about Toberman. The Doctor's quite harsh towards Toberman. Toberman saved his life from that Cyberman, right?
So, yeah.
And it's like, please take him out with you. He saved your life.
God Almighty! And he's about to save everyone's lives again.
Yeah, I feel badly for him here.
Yeah, this is sad.
He self-sacrifices himself to make sure the controller doesn't get out.
The controller has come back to life. Jamie and the Doctor both run, and there's a bit where he says, when I tell you to run, you run, and they both run in opposite directions. They go to close the door and say, no, the electric circuit. So they get like wood to insulate themselves from the shock. It doesn't work. The controller's about to break out, and then Toberman just pushes them out of the way and grabs the doors himself. And to prove he is human and not robotic, he goes, you are evil. None shall get past Toberman. The door is closed, and then he dies.
But the cyber controller also gets fried too.
He was not a villain, so I feel sorry for him.
He wasn't a villain, no.
He was manipulated first by Klieg and Captain, and then by this Cyberman.
He's he's the heavy of the real villains.
You can say that he is a problematic character.
Yeah.
But you can't say he's a villain.
He's not a villain.
The short end of the stick.
Yeah. And funnily enough, he's played by an actor that went on to be in James Bond.
Really?
Yeah. Quarrel Jr. in Live and Let Die.
Oh, another movie with some interesting choices.
And the whole reason why he's Quarrel Jr. is because the books and the films are out of order. So, Live and Let Die comes before Doctor No in the books, and then in Doctor No, Quarrel dies. But in Doctor No, in the films, Doctor No is the first one, and Quarrel still dies, so they had to bring his son in.
Right.
Yeah. But he's in Bond, and also Captain Hopper's in Bond.
Oh.
He has a much smaller role in Spy Who Loved Me.
Okay.
He is one of Stromberg's submarine captains.
Okay.
He's probably best known for Star Wars.
Captains? Oh, who's he in Star Wars?
He is the Imperial officer who tells Darth Vader that the plans are not aboard the ship and no transmissions were made and the escape pod was jettisoned.
Okay.
And I think he is English, so again, he's doing an American accent.
He's in the Avengers. Oh wait, no, you're talking about the other dude. Sorry, I was looking at.
Yeah, Roy Stewart's in the
Roy
Avengers,
Stewart.
where he plays some mostly silent black muscle.
Hey, you want to know something? Hey, you
Oh,
want to know
God.
something else about that actor? He was in a third Doctor story, Terror of the Autopsy. And hey, and in that story,
Yeah.
the Master infiltrates the circus. Hey,
Oh.
guess what role he had in the circus?
Was he a mute black strongman?
He was a mute
Yeah.
black strongman.
And I can say, looking at all his other roles, he was really badly typecast.
Quirrell Jr., he's not badly typecast because he gets lines.
He's still badly typecast because in the 1970 version of Julius Caesar, he's just known as Slave.
Yeah.
Oh my. Oh.
But if he keeps taking those roles, well...
Oh, jeez.
So I think that's about the end of Tomb of the Cybermen.
Thank
They have a
goodness,
little-
because this was getting really
they have-
uncomfortable.
They have a little hint of, oh no, Cybermen. But that doesn't come into play because
So Evil of the Daleks, you mentioned earlier, that was originally supposed to be the final appearance for the Daleks, funnily enough.
supposed, yeah.
Do you think at
because
some point they thought this was the end of the Cybermen?
I don't think they.
Or did Kit Pedler, who I have a lot of respect and admiration for, by the way, or did Kit Pedler always intend to bring them back for further down the line? So you can probably guess, I think, from our general tone and demeanour throughout this podcast, our overall thoughts on Tomb of the Cybermen.
Hey,
But let's just make it official, shall we?
23rd best Doctor Who story.
And now we know to
23rd
never pay attention to that
best.
poll ever again.
Unless we're
Oh, we
going to
already knew
mock.
that.
Oh well, we pay attention to the poll in that I'm going to pull it up every time and point out the place of stuff. And
Here's a
mock
new
it.
rule. If it's in the top 50, we're never going to cover it.
What? I don't know about that. Curse of Fenric was in the top 25.
We've already covered that, though.
Well, I don't think we're going to follow that.
That's an idea. Let's review it again. No.
So yeah, final thoughts on Tomb of the Cybermen, I
Okay.
guess, too.
Kat, I'll let you go first.
So I have to make a little bit of an admission here.
Oh boy.
Something I like to do. It's not that bad. Something I like to do is whenever I play a game or something where, like I don't like a whole lot of video game music, so I'll like put mute on Minecraft or something, throw on a video, and then just listen to it as I play Minecraft. Usually it's a video I've seen like a million times before. Unfortunately, I kind of had the same thing happen with Tomb of the Cyberman, where I got super bored while I was watching it, and it was not holding my attention whatsoever. So I was actually reading stuff while I was watching it.
That's not on you. That's on me. That's fine.
Oh no, it's not on you at all. You wanted to pick something that you wanted us to enjoy. Unfortunately, we didn't. It happened. I mean, look at my picks. I'm like specifically trolling you guys by this point. Either way,
But I'm not, and it still happened twice in a row now.
You'll get
you
it next
tried.
time. You'll get it next time.
It's okay. It's okay. You tried and you failed miserably. The lesson here is to never try.
Yes,
Oh my god.
basically.
Okay.
Anyways, what I did see, what kept my attention were some of the little parts. I saw the Cybermats and that made me burst out laughing. I saw the Cyber Controller and his dildo of a head, and that made me burst out laughing.
Oh, God.
And some parts of the actual serial did hold my attention. Patrick Troughton, whenever he was on screen, was fantastic. I actually really like Victoria, although apparently she's supposed to be 14, and she doesn't look 14, which is, makes sense because she's actually 19 at that time.
Yeah.
Either way, it was just kind of run-of-the-mill, put it on the background while I do something else. And that's sad, but true.
No, that's absolutely a fair take of it. I'm dreading this, but Frezno?
Yeah, it's not good. Not really. I can't, I already am kind of biased against Cybermen. It's rare that the Cyberman story gets my attention. And well, this one a lot of the fandom really loves it. Even to this day, they love and adore it and think it's one of the best things ever. And they were so glad that it was found in 1992. But it's not really that great. It has good things in it. Patrick Troughton's little master manipulator type performances are lovely. They read more towards McCoy, sort of like a prototype of that. If the plot actually went anywhere with it, that scene with Victoria is really good. Could have been in a better episode, but good. There's some other lovely little moments. Cybermats are fun in the so bad it's good way. The scene of the Cybermen bursting out of the tombs, pretty iconic when you see it the first time. When you see it subsequent times, it's bluster, but you can see why it's stuck in the memory, and people found it creepy back in the 60s. Other than that, what we have is A, problematic, and B, an idiot plot, where basically everyone is acting pretty idiotic in order for the story to go as it does. So you have the Doctor not stopping anyone or calling Klieg and foes out to stop their evil plan. You have Klieg, who's a logician, repeatedly falling prey to illogic and going, yes, it's sure to work this time. And it's not great. Even the Cybermen have a pretty half-assed plan with their entire team. It's not that great of a Patrick Troughton story, I'm afraid to say. And I do echo Kat's sort of fatigue. Maybe it's because on my own time I've been watching the 60s Doctor Who stories I haven't seen before. I've been doing an episode a day. But for this, I did all 4 in a row. That really made me feel like the fatigue of it. Oh, man. If I had been able to pace them out, maybe that would have helped. Because on airing, it would be once a week, you know.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have hurt so much with the pace. I definitely did feel Kat's fatigue and watch it in one times. But yeah, I'm afraid that's a. But I don't blame you, because I blame fandom for putting this shit up on a pedestal, mainly because they couldn't see it. But
see, what this is established tonight is that always do the opposite of what fandom does.
Well, sometimes the broken clock is right twice. They do like Curse of Fenric. So.
Well, they have that going for them at least.
We'll give them that.
Okay, so always do the opposite of what fandom does, except for the Curse of Fenric.
Except the Curse of Fenric. Yeah, like they don't like season 24. We've covered half of season. The bad half, even.
That's great.
Like Dragonfire and Time of the Rani are.
Yeah, well, you said that they weren't good, but they were entertaining.
I would throw them on in a heartbeat to my goddamn Cybermen.
Yeah.
So what does that say about fandom? Where they think that they hold those stories in the same regard, say Twin Dilemma, and Tomb of the Cybermen in the same regard as classic.
What it says about fandom is that we've progressed as a society beyond the need for fandom.
Yeah. What it says about fandom is I like when the monster does the bad thing. Well, that's my thoughts on.
Okay.
Brainiac, go
brace yourself. So, I echo a lot of what you have both said. And it's my fault for not realising until it was far too late that there's quite a lot of, I will use the word, problematic elements to this story.
I don't mind that word.
It's not wholly bad. There are some very big highlights and some very big lowlights.
Mm-hmm.
The highlights for me are the Doctor and his companions. Patrick Troughton is a delight, even in a bad story. Mm-hmm. Jamie is always great, and Victoria in particular really shines here. She's given several moments to be the one that actually saves the day. She creates a distraction to get Captain neutralised. She actually beats off a Cyberman with a flask of coffee. We forgot to mention that bit.
Oh, yeah.
And does a pretty good job of it, too.
Hell yeah, Victoria.
And she's still scared of friend after the event, but she still had enough bravery to go and give that Cyberman a walloping, so good for her. And the fact that she's 14, and it's not mentioned, but she's 14 or 15 throughout her tenure as a companion, and the actress was 19 and then 20 later on. And that's basically just the same thing that TV always does with teenage characters. They have non-teenagers to play them. I mean, there was something on CBBC show called The Sparkle Mystery, and in Series 3, somebody I knew from school actually was in that, and she was playing a teenage version of another character, and she was 27 when she filmed that.
God.
Yeah, so it happens. Also, see anything to do with school, like Waterloo Road, which Jenna Coleman was in, funnily enough. And the actors are usually a lot older than teenagers, but they're playing teenagers. It's just a thing that happens in TV and film, particularly TV.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, if you could get a teenage actor, why wouldn't you?
The scene between the Doctor and Victoria, where he's talking about how I miss my family, but only when I want to see them. That's wonderful. But the supporting cast is a big detriment here, particularly the two villains. Kaftan and especially Klieg have been hit over the head with the idiot stick so many times the stick smashed. And they're supposed to be logical. And when Toberman, the mute black strongman, is the most intriguing of and most engaging of the three quote unquote villains, you have a problem with your script. And I do feel badly for Roy Stewart, because he is typecast here, and he was typecast much of his career, and it's not his fault.
Yeah.
He's doing the best he can, and actually his character is one of the better characters, and that says a lot for the time, really, that he is one of the better characters. I thought it was good when I first saw it, but now that I'm looking at it through a critiquing eye, and you see like past the surface into the deep interior, it's not. I'm sorry, it isn't. And I apologise for subjecting it to you and to the audience at large.
We forgive you.
I feel bad.
It's okay.
I feel bad.
It's okay. If it helps, my choice is next, and, well...
If it's Talons of Wang Chiang, I swear.
If it's Talons, I'm getting up and leaving, just to warn you now.
I can safely say it's not Talons.
Thank God.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, let's have it.
So, I have a little surprise for you two.
Oh God, no.
Oh boy.
If this is Sylvester McCoy doing a $75 cameo, I'm out.
Episode.
What?
The dice is.
Nope, I'm not picking the episode.
Oh.
Okay.
And neither are you two.
Oh, you got a random number generator.
No, I think I know what she's got in mind.
So, to our people out there who are actually watching this episode, it is currently 3:55 p.m. on Monday, which is the 14th. I'm going to put a poll up on my Twitter page.
Oh!
You'll have 4 days from then.
My God,
which will
that's
be now,
brilliant.
But
I like this.
Technically, this will be now, quote unquote, but obviously, Renee has to edit everything, get it out, and it might not be until tomorrow. But I'm going to put the poll up today, so you have plenty of time.
I will link the poll as soon as you've done it.
In this poll, you will have 4 choices.
Oh, thank God you didn't leave it as a free choice, because they would have trolled the hell out of us otherwise.
You might not thank me just yet.
Please
So-
don't put Talons on the poll, please.
She said she wouldn't. She said it wasn't Talons.
I said it wasn't Talons yet.
Oh, God.
no.
Because choice number 1 is Talons. It's Talons.
No! Veto!
Well, it's okay. There are 3 other choices that they could pick.
Ugh.
Choice number 2 is called The Invisible Enemy. It is a 4th Doctor story,
Okay.
and it's the first time that K9 is shown.
I haven't seen that one. That's all right.
Then we also have choice 3, which is called Full Circle. This is also a 4th Doctor, so you might see a theme here.
This
is the start of the East Space series and the first Adric time.
Hey, everybody,
this
vote
is
for
a
that
poll.
one.
This is a poll.
Vote for that one. Vote for that one, please.
No, we don't get to say who voted for which one. That's not fair.
Now there's one more option, and
It's a
this
twin
one
lava.
is this one is my curveball.
Oh, boy.
We've been doing a lot of classic Doctor Who recently, so
Oh boy.
why don't we branch out a little bit and choose something that is related to the 4th Doctor, but may not be specifically Doctor Who itself.
I swear.
What?
So, not that long ago, I found this Australian TV
I
show
swear.
made for kids about K9. So your fourth choice is we could do the Australian Canine Show, episodes 1 through 3.
Oh my god.
You have doomed us all, you fool!
The reason I picked 1 through 3 is because 1 is obviously a pilot. You can't expect it to be good. It's just there to sort of
3 episodes
get people into the story. And then you have 2 and 3, so then that way you have an idea of exactly what they're trying to do with this series.
Okay,
For
then.
those who might not know, essentially K9 is transported to a random place with random people, and it's very Australian, and it's honestly I really liked it.
All right.
So
to reiterate, then, your choices on this poll. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Number 1 is the Talons of Wen Chiang. Number 2 is the Invisible Enemy. Number 3 is Full Circle. And number 4 is the curveball choice of episodes 1 to 3 of K9. Not the K9 and Company, but K9, the Australian spin-off.
Alright,
yes.
So there are things I want to see on this poll, and there are things I don't want to see win.
Have you not learned by now to keep your mouth shut? Because if you say what you want it to be, they will not vote for that.
Well, it's okay, because I'm going to put it up in just a moment at exactly 4 o'clock today. So then that way people will have plenty of time. Hopefully people will see it and they will be, go ahead and click on it randomly. They may not know exactly what it is because all I said was choose your destiny as the the Twitter poll thing, the tagline. So hopefully they'll be able to pick something that they'll enjoy. But either way, your choices are racist the first time we see K9, the first time we see Adric, or essentially the last time we see K9, really.
I like this curveball format you got going. Hold on.
I applaud the poll suggestion. Not so much the choices on it.
There goes the poll. The poll is now officially up.
Okay, I will retrieve that as soon as we're done here, which will not be too far from now.
Well,
so this is me then, an apologetic Rain, saying thank you, I guess, for sitting through us talking about the 2 of the Cybermen. This is not me putting it on. I do feel bad.
I don't worry. I understand and I forgive you.
I was cringing internally through half of this podcast.
I know.
You forgive me. So basically, you're David Tennant and I'm a sobbing John Cena.
Oh God.
So thank you to Freezing Inferno and to Kat for putting up with this for the last 2 hours, and thank you to you, the audience, for listening to us talk about the problematic story of the 2 of the Cybermen. And join us next time for 1 of 4 choices. Kat is
Please don't
an
make
evil genius.
us talk about racism again. I beg of
Well, here's the thing.
Entire time.
We can't
the
blame
entire
Kat for
time you
this.
guys were talking about Wang Chiang, and I'm like, oh, they have no idea what's coming.
I thought you were just going to straight up pick that, but thank you for at least giving us
No,
a
I'm
chance
not that
to
evil.
avoid it. But until then, with Kat's Mystery Pick next week, bye for now.
I do have your address. And
Yes,
all I
you
have to do
do.
is knock on the door and say, hi, is Brett here?
I'm beginning to
And
regret
all
that I
they'll
did that.
just let me right up.
It's almost like I made a massive mistake. Anyway, 2 of the Cybermen.
You can't do that to me because the Canadian border is closed.
Well, I can't do that to him anyways because the
she
entire
can't travel
U.S.
here.
is banned.
She can't travel here, but
I'm from the U.S. I'm banned from everywhere.
Oh, damn.
okay. 2 of the Cybermen. Then I'm just getting into my groove. Hang on.
I'm like England when the British Empire started collapsing. I'm not allowed anywhere now.
You can't see me, but I'm doing that sort of Sherlock Holmes hands in front of face pose right now.
Fucking hang on.
If you bring up the image of Cumberbatch and an otter,
no,
I swear to God,
it's not Cumberbatch. It's not Cumberbatch. There we are. That's what I wanted.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty fucking big. But
I'm bracing myself for breakage.
Hey, Rainiac, is this you?
God damn it!
Please let it be one of yes.
He's even got my
I was
glasses. God damn it!
I was literally bringing that up too.
He's literally got my glasses.
Your glasses are pretty fucking shiny.
Well, apart from it's not the shape, it's the shape of them. That's the shape of my glasses.
Oh.
Big and sort of octagonal. My hair's not too far away from that too. God damn it! Right, I was in the zone. I'm not. I'm out the zone.
Hey guys! You want to see how to ruin a good thing?
Oh
no!
Jesus!
Oh, fuck off!
Add Donald Trump.
You're not wrong.